Welcome back to another triathlon podcast. We've got a special episode this week with such a big race in Oceanside, as everyone is well aware, and I'm sure you listened to all the other podcasts that have already dropped. But I'm just back from California. Took the red eye last night, and we're recording this on Tuesday. And got Feta here with me. Jenna's actually in the midst of just landing in Taiwan for her Ironman that we've been talking about coming up with a few other Mana coaches. But yeah, we're back and got Fede with me. And Fed, how you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, happy to be here. And Jen is probably somewhere in the middle of the air right now, flying. She's racing Ironman Taiwan, but no, happy to be here. Happy to talk triathlon and let's see what the World Triathlon has in store for us this week.
Just a little bit. I mean, potentially the busiest week of triathlon we've seen in a while, with Oceanside and everything that is Oceanside, and it kind of being like a mini world champs with the amount of people there, the vibe, the whole amount. I mean, literally the amount of participants and the brands that are there. And then you had T100 kicking off in Singapore this weekend, and all the talk around the crazy weather and people dropping out and people showing up and obligations to contracts. And then you had SuperTri as well with with a crazy finish in that one. And man, it was a busy weekend and a great weekend for the sport, especially when you get somebody like Lionel taking the top step and doing it in the fashion that he did. It was really, really cool. So before we dive into these really super fast people, because I got to watch some of them fly by me, which was also really cool. One of my goals for the race was to be on the course with some of the pros, and I
Nice.
checked that box. But Fed, how's your training been going? It's we haven't had a chance to catch up in a bit, so why don't you let everyone know where you're at and kind of where your season's headed?
Yeah, so training's been a bit crazy right now for me because of work and adulthood, basically. But doing a lot of uh, high intensity work because I'm racing at Olympic distance. So I have a lot more time to spare in my other responsibilities. So I'm doing a lot of high interval training on the bike, a lot of sprints on the run, same in the pool, just to try to get that feeling of um, uncomfortability in my system. And yeah, it's been going well. Body's responding really good to it. And I've been lifting as well. I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting right now just because I want that muscular endurance to kick back in and to train uh, while tired. So been doing a lot of that as well.
I mean, you're not going to go high rocks on us, are you? Know?
No, no high rocks. No, definitely not. I One of my friends sent me the link of the High Rocks Instagram, and I was like, if I make fun of the CrossFit people, I'm not gonna do High Rocks. I'm
Yeah.
sticking to triathlon. I know a lot of triathletes, age group triathletes, are dabbling with High Rocks, but not me. I'm a one trick pony. I'm sticking with triathlon, so yeah, no High Rocks for me. Maybe I do a little bit of rowing machine or the little pulling thing just to just for like a conditioning thing, but not to compete. And I rather do my 8x1K with intent and with intensity to get the best out of that.
Not in between apparatuses. Yeah, exactly.
Not in between apparatuses. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely not. What about
Nice.
you, Josh? How's living? I know you did a little race as well over in Oceanside. So tell us about
Yeah.
that.
Body's just starting to come around. I feel much better today after flying overnight, coming back. But man, every year at Oceanside just keeps getting better and better. For me, time wise, and for just the experience wise, and it was kind of eye opening this week just to be there and be around the brands and having conversations with people like in the industry as a member of the industry and and people recognizing me a little bit too was kind of weird. But at the same time, it's just really, really neat. And the expo was buzzing starting on Thursday. I got in on Wednesday night. Thursday morning, we had an awesome private breakfast with a few members of the AG1 team and some of their pros. So literally within hours of arriving, I was sitting down at a table with Gustav Eden, Braden Curry, Jackie Herring having breakfast. And
Nice.
really, really cool. They go up morning person. I'm not a
Yeah.
not a morning person, but I'm gonna give kudos to my friend Lisa and the team at AG1 because it was a really, really cool experience being part of their brand and representing the AG1 Mana collaboration that we put together. The kits were tight and really, really cool looking and fast, and you could tell that Mana and AG1 really put some effort into this, and the team that was out there representing them was super fast, and it was obvious to see us on the course. Like the kits just stood out. Other than Justin
Absolutely.
Reale, we probably had the most
Yeah.
obvious kits out there.
No. Yeah. Speaking about the kids, when I looked at the pictures, I was like, "Oh, FOMO, serious FOMO right now." The kids look fire, and when you did the shakeout ride, everybody wearing their kits, it was awesome to see, and definitely it's one of those collaborations where everything came together perfectly well. Like you could see that each part put time and effort into developing a really cool team, and it's I don't know everyone that was racing for AG1 personally, but the ones that I do are awesome people and great athletes. So happy that they got to represent AG1. I know you did, Chad, Vanessa, a couple others. So it was pretty cool to see you guys rocking the AG1 kit.
Yeah, so we put together a team, about 25 of us from Mana, from the community. There was actually a few people that joined Mana to be part of the AG1 experience too. So we were able to recruit a few extra new team members too. A couple of which, one of them took second place in my age group, 45 to 49. This guy Marco out of Utah. He had done a bunch of 70.3 type distance races, half irons, but never in the Ironman brand. And so this was his first
Interesting.
70.3 because he got the entry. So, and then he crushes it and drops in second place. And
Hey,
so we had two guys in the top five on the podium in my age group within our AG1 team. We had a number of other podiums there. Hope Hoffman took fourth overall female. Serena
yeah,
Zhu was first overall female on the elite team. It was an epic fast day for Mana, and we finished second tri club. Obviously, with the numbers that we've got compared to one of the other tri clubs, we're gonna be second. But we took care of business on that day too. So it was a really, really fun day, and just the whole weekend, the vibe, the weather was perfect. It was cold.
yeah,
I've done this race 3 years in a row. I feel like it's been about the same weather every year, like we talked about before recording. But it was something was different in the air. They actually talked about shortening the swim or canceling the
really.
swim or even canceling it this year in the pro briefing meeting. So they were thinking maybe
Wow.
750 or not, but every year when it's cold in the morning, the water temperature actually feels a little better. So
Yeah, yeah,
I actually felt great in the swim, and I've had some times where I've jumped in that water and it took a little bit to catch up, and obviously I've trained a lot harder for this race, and the fitness was there, the confidence level in the swim was there. My brand new DeBoer 4.0 arrived, and I was in the latest and greatest there, and happy to rep that partnership. And I just felt comfortable in the water the whole time. Temperature never bothered me until I got to T1 and tried to tighten my shoes, and literally
right.
it was like my fingers aren't working. But it was a crazy hectic swim, light, the sun coming up, really hard sighting, but everything to be expected as normal. And then the air temperature started warming up as we got on the bike, and but there were people wearing sweatshirts, people wearing gloves, and like a lot of different garments being worn for the beginning of the
Yeah.
bike at least. And we all knew and had heard some of the road conditions had gotten
Mm.
even worse than years past, and people talk about the road conditions in Oceanside and going through the base can get pretty bumpy. And sure enough, there were what I like to call water bottle graveyards all over the the course. And there's warning signs and like bump signs ahead or volunteers trying to slow you down and stuff. But when you're trying to average 20 plus miles an hour for 56 miles, you're not really slowing down when it comes to a bump. You're just aware, right?
Absolutely.
And aware and hopeful. So I lost my first ever bottle in racing in my career, and I ran over someone else's bottle, and that's when mine popped.
Full circle.
Yeah. Kind of hard to avoid at certain points. So there were a lot of crashes, a lot of flats as I rode and passed a lot of people. Did not catch up to Christian before he fixed his flat, but you think you would have a kit with you, right? If you're a pro and trying to win.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that they say, hey, if I get a flat, I rather take all the aero benefits and all the weight, save all the weight that I can, not carrying a flat kit. And I think most pros are like, well, if I flat, tech support is going to be here in no time. It wasn't the case, but unfortunate, and it's just one of those things where, luck wasn't on Christian's side on Saturday, but happy actually.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I was really happy to see Gustav having a solid race. That at least one of the Norwegians did good. Especially he's been having a rough couple of year and a half, 2 years with personal issues and stuff like that. So happy that he had a good race. And going back to the flats, it's one of those things that I don't know. You really need to. Well, I can't speak about that because I'm one of those people that don't carry a flat kit when I race, and I've been stranded a couple of times for 30 plus minutes waiting for neutral support. But I guess you take your odds in carrying the flat kit and being as aero as possible.
I mean, these days, I think at least having the CO2 and the attachment to do that, and even just a plug kit could get you back home, right? So you don't have to necessarily have a spare tube if you're running tubeless, but I mean, that's going to the next level and making sure you do have yourself covered. And I carried a spare tube and I carried a CO2. I definitely need to invest in some more plugs and go that route too. But I've been very fortunate in races to not have one, and especially at that race. I mean, doing that 3 years and not having any mechanicals because they're everywhere. But it was that climb was everything. I set a whole bunch of PRs across the board on the year. There were a couple of sections where I did not, and those were the sections in the years past where I probably pushed it too much and wasn't able to clear lactate by overdoing certain sections. So really focused on riding a steady race and had a watt range that we wanted to be at, and then not too far above that when I was climbing. And I think my climb, that first climb's about 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes, depending on who you are. And I think I averaged like 270 watts for 5 minutes. So not really crashing, where I think in years past, I was like, hey, let's go 350 and get up it a little quicker. And we all know, I mean, you start pushing 20, 30 more watts at that level, then you are starting to really burn matches. And I didn't burn any matches on the ride, and I was able to push coming home. I think we had a little different wind this year, not as much of a headwind coming home. And I told everyone all week, look, those last couple of miles get pretty crazy too. And people start to sit up and like, hey, I made it. And you can't, you got to keep pushing. And my wife actually got a video of me coming back into the marina, and there I am still an arrow passing people.
Nice.
And you still got another half a mile to go, and you actually still ride right into transition and where you would think is past the mount line, but it's not. So a lot of room to catch up there, but it was a fun ride. Fed and I were talking before we started recording. I actually averaged about 5 to 10 watts less this year than I did last year, but I was 5 minutes faster. And that was a really, really cool thing to look at and reflect back on. And because the name of the game is time and speed.
Yeah.
And I was able to get faster without pushing watts. And if I can get a few more watts in those legs, then we're just going to get faster and faster. And that's really cool to see. And it obviously saves some for the run. And I had a great first mile on the run. And I was like, all right, sweet. We're right where we need to be. But I just couldn't hold it or push a little harder.
Right.
And the average split time started dropping a little bit. And then I was like, all right, let's just hold on. And I didn't know exactly where I stood overall time, but I knew I had a faster swim. I knew I had a faster bike with my wife giving me some splits there. The one thing I messed up, this is pretty funny, on the bike, there's the speed zone. And we all know that some people like Cam Wharf had some issues there. And man, I talked to people out the day after the race, like just running into random people in Carlsbad while my wife was doing a race. And the 3 people I talked to all were DQ'd because of the
Really?
speed zone. So many people got DQ'd this year, but I knew about it. I've done it a few times, but I wanted some backup. And so I lapped my watch, not the bike computer. I lapped my watch when I got to the beginning of the speed zone, and then I lapped it when I got to the end. I forgot I was in triathlon, multi-sport mode, so I put myself in T2, and then I put myself on the run.
Oh
My
no.
T my
Right.
T2 is 0.7 miles in about a minute
Nice.
40, and I
Perfect.
averaged 23 and a half miles an hour in T2.
That's the fastest transition in the world, probably. There
But my file was perfect if I ever needed it.
you
So
go.
apparently they go off of the fact that they know exactly how long 25 miles an hour takes you from point to point. And if you're over that by 0.15 of a second, you're DQ'd.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah.
tons of red tape on the racks in transition when people got back, and that meant they were DQ'd. Age groupers they did not let continue the run most of the from what I've heard. Cam Wharf just took off and did a training run and was able to finish. Um, the other thing was people, I have heard at least 1 or 2 people actually got DQ'd for passing in that
Yeah.
no speed zone as
No
well.
speed. So
There was a
yeah.
guy right in front of me. I came in with a girl in front of me, and then another guy kind of by my side, and he passed me and her as he went through and then pulled away. And I knew what I was
Oh.
going. So I was like, so I don't think he probably didn't get DQ'd for passing. He probably got DQ'd for going too fast,
Yeah.
would
Speeding.
be my guess. But yeah, that zone's hilarious. So, but by the time I got to transition, I let the watch play out. I ended my triathlon. So anyone who was looking at my Strava saw I had a 57 mile 70.3 race and was done. But then I just started the run on my
Yeah.
watch like a
Nice.
normal outdoor run and went that route. The only problem with that is the way I had it set up. I was looking at my cadence, thinking it was my heart rate.
Oh, panic mode.
So I was running at 175, 180 real quick. And I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck is going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now? I'm like, I know it's warm, but so I'm sure that didn't help my run. I probably had a few extra seconds per mile
Yeah.
there that I let go just because of the brain telling you don't push it. Your heart rate's moving. But I was looking at cadence and wow, what a rookie mistake that was. But these are all things that I'm learning, and like these are all little things that you can clean up. And like I look at the video and the pictures, and I didn't pull down my right calf sleeve wasn't clean coming out of the water, and I should have
Mm.
tightened that up for the bike ride, and making sure your sleeves are nice and tight and things like that. And the kit's a huge piece of being aero. My coach and I talked about that. But man, my bike setup was aero, and I'm a big fan of the fast TT triple bottle setup now.
Yeah.
And a lot of comments and a lot of eyes on that setup, but it was fast and it worked, and it really closed that whole gap in underneath my chest, and I was able to sit in and see my computer out front. And then the run's just fun. It's those hills are tough when you have to go up and down, but they're short. And then it's just good vibes and great finish line and fans everywhere and good food afterwards and a lot of the pros and age group for sticking around for the awards. So really fun weekend and fun race. Man, everyone needs to do that race once in their career too. It's just so fun. And now I've done it 3 times, and I never thought I'd say that. And my wife's telling me I'm going to continue to do it every year. I don't know how that's possible, but one of the other big news things for me too is I officially accepted a role with SuperTri. So I'm going to be handling all of their partnerships for North America. Still get to do the podcast, but I will officially be working for SuperTri going forward, and really looking forward to that. My first event that I'll be traveling to will be Captex in Austin. So heading down your direction, Fed, and and one of the first things I did was look at my schedule, SuperTri schedule, and I saw Oregon, and it's the week before Toronto. So I'll be going from Oregon to Toronto is what it looks like.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm super happy for you, and they got the right man for the job. So you're gonna do awesome right over there, and maybe there's SuperTri ATP collaboration coming sometime in the future. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll figure some stuff out. I had a bunch of discussions with some brands out there already, and a lot of good things coming, and got to listen to ProTri News their recap, and Mark had a great time at the SuperTri event, the SuperTri which had like one of the craziest triathlon finishes of all time. It just happened to be a virtual race, but they were technically on treadmills and running, and Chase McQueen wasn't able to defend his title because he got caught from behind in the last 1K, which if that was happening on the road, we would have all been talking about it a little bit more. But really cool to see that. Love the brand, love everything that they represent, and trying to grow the entire age group market even more with some of these local triathlons that we see dying out. We're trying to bring them up and grow them even more. So really excited about that, and just being a part of the sport even more. It's kind of still hasn't hit me yet, right? But why don't you run us through, since I was out on the bike and on the run, I did see Paula, Jackie, Danielle pass me as they were heading towards the finish chute, and I saw how close that was. I actually believe I'll have to listen to our recording last week. I think that was my podium for the females at Oceanside too. So it was kind of cool. It was a little inspiring. Like, well, I actually called those 3, and I'm gonna go finish my run.
Yeah. And now that you just talked about Paul and Jackie, let's start with the women. It was a really cool race, and I saw a lot of posts and a lot of comments before the race that this was Paula's race to lose, and that she was going to win by like a gazillion miles, and that this was just like a shakeout zone 2 type of race for her. She was just going to jog her way to victory. But and I know Paula is a really good athlete, and I knew she was the big favorite for this, but there were a lot of good athletes on the start line. Like you said, Jackie Herring, Tamara Hewitt, Danielle Lisa Bikaris, and it wasn't like a super easy win for Paula. Like, yes, she won. She ran a 1:20 half marathon, but she wasn't the fastest runner. And second place, Jackie Herring, was only 19 seconds behind her. So it wasn't this big blowout race that boring that people were making it up to be. So really happy for the competition that the women put on. It was a really cool race to follow and to watch. And I was watching the live stream. One, wanting to catch you on the live stream, and 2, following the pros. And Paula rode at 2:24. Jackie rode at 2:24 as well. So it was a really cool race to watch. And Daniel Lewis came in third place with a 1:18:30 half marathon. Tamara Hewitt had an amazing run, 1:17 half. So really, really solid racing on the women's side. And I'm just excited because first race of the season, Northern Hemisphere. Oh man, it's gonna be interesting what these girls can do as the season continues. So really, really
Especially
happy.
Jackie and Danielle too, right? Because we know they're targeting the Pro Series again, like they did last year. And for Jackie, 19 seconds is practically just as good as a win. I mean, there's you don't get bonus points for winning. It starts at a number and it drops per second. And Jackie only lost 19 seconds, so that's huge for her.
Yeah.
It was great getting to chat with her when I was out there too. She's awesome. I mean, she's such a fan of the sport too, and it was really neat to have a good conversation with her while we were out there, as she's one of the other AG1 athletes. And even Lisa Vaqueros. I mean, what a bike! I mean, when she gets that run fitness down, she's going to be a threat. I think Alice Alberts didn't have the race she was hoping for, but she's got Texas coming up. Danielle Lewis had a great bike. I think she had the fastest bike run. And that bodes well if, man, she just has to get a little closer on the swim. And I don't think she had a good swim, but wasn't able to fully catch up. But that bike run is legit for sure. And that bodes well for her in Texas. So it's really interesting to see how many people were there that are doing Texas too. So that 3 week gap and that training run, training ride, training swim 3 weeks out is a thing, and it's loud now with the amount of people there, including the Norwegians on the men's side.
Yeah, it was a really cool race to watch. And now that you mentioned the Norwegians, let's talk about the men. And we had obviously we talked about Christian having a flat tire and not being able to fix it. But then everybody was talking, oh, the Norwegians are back. They're going to be 1, 2, 3. Christian, Gustav, Casper. They're going to pull an ITU Bermuda type of race. And everybody, it seems that every time they rule out Lionel Sanders, he's like, hold my beer. I got this. And it was cool to see Lionel. I mean, he looked patient on the bike. He wasn't over biking, and the way he ran 110 flat, my God, he looked amazing throughout the way. There was this moment where he was passing Rudy Van Berg, and he didn't even look back. He didn't even put on a search. He was just sticking to his plan, knowing he was gonna come by them. And what an incredible performance by Lionel, taking the win. And he was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds,
like almost 2:30.
Yeah, almost 2:30 behind on the swim. And then he didn't panic as he usually does on years prior in this race. And yeah, so kudos to Lionel. Congratulations to him. Second place, Rudy Van Berg. Solid race, you know. Rudy is the type of athlete who races into his peak shape. So just consistency, and I know this was a training race, quote unquote, for a lot of guys for Texas. And then Gustav running on the podium on third, and he's a fun character. I watched an interview, and he was like, "I'll be surprised if I win this race, but I know the bike's going well, so I'm going to enjoy that, and then let's see what the run has to offer." But of course, an athlete of Gustav's caliber, that the run is not there, that means it's still world class.
That podium's actually, all three of them are doing Texas too. So it's the Pro Series is off and running, and you can see what it meant to Lionel again, that finish. He didn't break anyone's arms in the shoot, but he certainly went crazy on the tape and afterwards again. And I tell you, Rudy Von Berg is the front runner for the Pro Series in my eyes right now, because you think about how well he's done at Texas. He's won Texas. He knows that course. He's performed very well there. We know what Rudy Von Berg can do in Nice. Yes. And now you're talking, okay, there's 2 Ironman, including the world champs this year, that Rudy Von Berg is going to get some really big points at. And now he's got a second at Oceanside. So, okay, he needs 2 more results. And that's scary for the rest of the world, especially with Christian having a result that he hopefully will have to replace somewhere else down the line with another 70.3. So that pushes him back down until he's able to find another 70.3 to come in and grab those points with, because wow, his run was there, and it's like everyone's like, oh, he sat on the road for 15 minutes. I'm like, he sat on the road for 15 minutes, 5 to 10 miles into the bike ride. I mean,
Yeah,
he
that's
still had
everything.
to push 40 to 50 miles on the bike, and then run a 107 at Oceanside.
Absolutely, exactly. And then think about, yes, you're waiting for 15 minutes. The losses that you take are not linear, are exponential. So yes, you're sitting in same time space for 15 minutes where your competitors are moving away from you. So it's two factors. You're waiting,
and then you lose the pack.
Exactly, you lose the pack. You need to you cool down. Then you need to get back into race power. So there's a lot of factors that go into this type of performance. And then, like you said, running a 107 just because it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and Ari Clow had a heck of a run, probably his best pro race yet, I think, in the top 10. Justin Reale, I mean, swim bike,
Amazing.
and he was out front with the fact that he'd been battling an injury and had not been running much. The run has always been something that he's had to work on, but that's another scary thing for some of these pros, because he biked away from everyone and no one went with him.
Yeah, no one.
And he went solo, and if he could get that run a little better and be fit, that's awesome. Kudos to Justin. I think he's going to be someone to watch out for, because that is some serious swim bike power.
Yes.
And he's going to have some opportunities to win some big races. I see coming up.
Yeah.
But it was a really, and Ben Canute, that was a heck of a sprint finish.
That was awesome.
Well, the old man Canute from Top Gun. Wow, I thought it was going to be a crazy week too, because we lost Val Kilmer, and the Top Gun house is right there on the run course. But yeah, Ben Canute back in the picture with a heck of a sprint finish, and he's another one doing Texas. So the one that surprised me, and I think we got a little info afterwards, was Patrick again. And last year we had Matt Sharp on last week. Last year he and Matt went off the bike course and lost time there, and he wasn't able to make it up. This year it sounds like he was hypothermic in the swim and wasn't able to feel his feet until about 5 to 10K into the run. And wasn't a factor. I think he finished 19th, 20th, somewhere in there, and he was 21st last year. So another tough result, but we all know if Patrick Lange had shown up at 70.3 Worlds last year, he would have won the Pro Series.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Can't count him out yet, but tough result, because this was one of those opportunities he was looking forward to get his slot in Spain, which he still has to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't think Patrick is panicking. We know the caliber of athlete Patrick is, and also Oceanside wasn't probably his A race, because he was using it as a training race for Texas. And he's a really good athlete that he can take the luxury of having a training race and still qualify for a world championship. Yes, conditions affect you one day more than the other, and the fact that he was still able to finish just speaks great amounts of his character. And just I don't see Patrick not getting his slot for Marbella. So he just needs to find another 70.3 that fits into the calendar, and then he'll be on his way.
Yeah, he and Christian can go find another 70.3 and go 1-2 there and get their slots.
Absolutely. I mean, exactly. They could pull off Martin Van Riel now, taking the race to Singapore. Like, the guy is crazy, doing Ironman and T100. It wouldn't surprise me if he decides to race a bike race in the next couple of weeks just for fun. But that was another race that happened over the weekend. It was crazy, the Singapore race.
Yeah, before we jump into Singapore, the one thing I did want to say too is I actually had the opportunity to go this will be the last piece on Oceanside. I actually had the opportunity to go to Nick and Eric's film premiere for their TTL, and it was really cool. You show up and you go into a movie theater, and it was just like any other premiere or any other movie that you would go to, and there they were greeting everyone, and you could tell Nick had been working up until the last minute.
Uh,
he was he was pretty exhausted, but they pulled it off, and it was a packed house, and a bunch of the pros were there. I saw Jackie Herring and Alice Alberts there, and just a really, really cool film. They had a couple like short films that some of their partners like Orca had done pre, and I actually made one of the films
nice.
myself
There you go.
at the shakeout run that they had done in their first live podcast 2 years ago from Oceanside, which shows you how far they've come. Their first live podcast was 2 years ago, and now they're putting movies up. But it was a really cool experience, really good film. Really shows you kind of what Eric's mind's like these days, and where he's off to, and get to chat with, and Nick, and Paul, and Flynn was there as well. So it was that was a nice little other added touch to the weekend, which those are the types of things that happen around Oceanside.
Nice. Yeah. I was that was it's cool to see those type of things happening at Oceanside, especially because it's a birthplace of triathlon. There's a big rock, and it has, for anyone that hasn't been fortunate to race Oceanside, I highly encourage you to go race it. It's a special vibe, being the first race of the Northern Hemisphere season, and a lot of people come together, and the quality is amazing. A lot of sponsors go to that race, and it feels in a way like a world championship-ish vibe where everyone's out there, everyone's exercising. It's just a cool place to be, a cool place to train, and I highly encourage it. And it serves as this huge trampoline for a lot of athletes and brands. So yeah, Oceanside is an incredible race, and I highly encourage everyone to go do it. That's why Josh has been doing it for like the past 3 years, and I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon.
We'll see if I qualify if my time for Boston is a qualifying time. We'll find out in September. That will probably be the year that I have to skip, because I'm gonna have fun in Boston in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Now,
less than 2 weeks.
but if I qualify for next year's race, then that will be a full out A race. I'm gonna race it, because this year is gonna be a fun run. But yeah, you mentioned Martin Van Riel running the back-to-back 6 days apart, doing an Ironman and a a T100 race. Why don't we start with the women's race, though, since that was on Saturday? I did not get to see really any of that. I've definitely watched all the highlights and all that. But Fed, why don't you tell us how it went down? Because you want to talk about surprises. That women's race was certainly probably one of the more surprising triathlon results we've seen in a while.
Very eventful race. We had everything: mechanicals, heat strokes, a whole bunch of DNFs, and just Singapore. It's brutal with the conditions. It's hot, it's humid, and then again, first race of the season. A lot of athletes are not used to the heat and the humidity at that intensity because they've been training throughout the winter. So we saw that. We saw that happening, and we had a big surprise. Well, not big, because I mean, she's an incredible athlete, but everyone was talking about Lucy Charles. Everybody was talking about Flora Duffy, and
I mean, the defending champ, Ash Gentle.
The defending champ, Ash Gentle. Everybody was focusing on those on those guys, but then we saw Kate Wall from Great Britain having an incredible race, super dominant. She biked super hard, then she took the race, the bull by the horns, and just ran away from everyone. So just unbelievable what she can do. And I think Kate is one of those athletes that she gives me a lot of Julie DeRon vibes. Like, yes, she's amazing at the shorter stuff, not taking that away from her, but you can see that the longer stuff, they get better as the race goes by, and they get stronger and stronger. So they can really display their strengths at this middle distance T100 type of event. So, I mean, I think we have a contender for the T100 and on the 70.3 distance to give a good run for her money to Taylor Neal.
Yeah, I think she definitely opened a lot of eyes, because not only did she won by over 6 minutes, I believe, too, right?
Yes. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to Lisa Perter, who then again from Austria. Then again, she's a really good athlete, had an amazing ITU career, and now she's jumping into 70.3 and T100. She's a really good athlete, and she loves Mexico, so I really like Lisa. Um, and it came in second place. And then Lucy, 7 minutes and 51 seconds behind Kate. Lucy
And
Charles
still the
Barkley in
podium. I
third
mean,
place.
that's
Yeah, and
crazy.
still on the podium. I mean, when you see these gaps, you know the weather was a big factor. We know the humidity was a big factor, and the athletes who play their strengths the better were the ones who came out on top.
Yeah, it was and the videos that I've seen, like they were just dropping like flies. I mean, Philadelphia was like, nope, I'm done. I'm off the course.
Yeah.
It was as brutal as everyone talks about, and maybe then some this year. And these athletes, it's like they don't know when to pull the trigger. They just push and hope that they're fueled right or body can handle it. And for a lot of them, it wasn't working that day.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
absolutely.
And then how about the men's race? You want to talk about firepower? How'd that one go down? And our boy Sam Long couldn't hang on the swim again, huh?
Yeah, I saw. I watched a bunch of memes about Sam Long investing the time on the swim, and it seems to me that he hasn't cracked that code yet. But yeah, on the men's side, Hayden Wilde took the win in 3:18:11, just super dominant race, and then on the live stream, it was very funny because the camera went to him while he was riding the bike, and he looked like he was having fun. He was like, "I'm loving this." So I knew he was in a good mental space, and physically he was feeling really good. So him took the win. On second place, we had French Leo Berger, 2 minutes and 34 seconds behind. And on third place, rounding up the podium, Martin van Riel from Belgium. And Martin, he's a really cool guy. I really like Martin van Riel. We had him on the podcast, and he's a really cool character. And the way he raced Ironman South Africa, and then just days later comes and raced the T100 in Singapore was unbelievable. I saw a couple of posts from Martin, and he said that he was feeling the Ironman legs underneath him. So yeah, it was cool to watch him pull off this double whammy of Ironman. Ironman South Africa, and then the T100 Singapore. So yeah, really, really cool to see him do these kind of things.
It's crazy to me to do what he did, and at the level that he did it, knowing how hard this race was on the entire field, and for him to show up, do that. I think I just saw before we hopped on the podcast that he's already out running again. And it's like, it'd be interesting to see how his schedule goes in the next few weeks. And like, does he take any downtime? Does he take a week off? Does he take 4 days, 5 days off? I mean, he went for a shakeout run, so I who knows? I know I'm taking a few days off, and I haven't had a day off all year, and I'm taking a few days off before we get back at it, and probably with the swim will be the next thing I do. But it's insane to me to think the level that he's at right now, and yeah, third place at T100. I don't think he had any expectations of winning that race. So
yeah, no.
He just checked a box, like boom, showed up, got my points, and now he's going to target some other races that he's going to go try and crush.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And you can see that Martin is the type of athlete who really enjoys racing, that he always gives his all no matter what, and he thrives in this race environment. So the more he races, the better he gets, and he enjoys it a lot. And he's not one of those athletes who gets tied to his result. He just wants to go out there and push himself to the best of his ability. So yeah, I'm really happy that he was able to pull this through the Ironman and then the T100. So exciting racing, and it's looking like it's going to be a cool and exciting season on the T100, on the SuperTri series. on the Ironman series. So definitely a cool race, a cool season to be part of, and follow this year.
Did you happen to catch any of the craziness that was the SuperTri E race and our Olympic champ doing her thing again, and Chase, her boyfriend Chase wasn't able
Yeah,
to bring it home for the two of them, but it looked like it was a pretty epic day, and using my whoosh in that virtual world was really cool. And I just happened I wasn't able to watch it live, but it's, if you haven't seen it, I definitely highly recommend getting on your trainer and popping on the YouTube
yeah,
replay.
yeah. Who said indoor racing wasn't fun and exciting? Huh? That was that was a nail biter.
Yeah, and now both. I mean, World Triathlon is certainly partnering with the right people there in that world and getting that done. So really excited to see how that SuperTri Pro Series plays out this year too, because I think it's such a cool aspect of how the gap is bridged from the short course athletes that are also looking to do something a little different, get their name out there. But yet again, you still got the likes of Cassandra Bogren showing
Yeah,
up, and I think even Hayden Wilde has said he still wants to participate in SuperTri this year at some level, and Taylor Spivey has said she's going to do that as well. So, man, Taylor Spivey's got one heck of a schedule. She's going to be doing Ironman, T100, and SuperTri.
she has a busy schedule for sure. Yeah, and she looks like she's in a great mental headspace, and she's loving the new transition towards middle distance. So it's going to be exciting to see what she does this year now that she's fully focusing, or more focused on the longer stuff.
Yeah. The I don't really have much of a social media post of the week or WTF to cover. Obviously, there was so much, and really just take your pick. Go watch SuperTri E.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. Go do that. But the one thing I will say, and I think we got to figure this out with Ironman, and it sounds like even T100, maybe even more so. These live trackers. I actually got to
yeah,
witness one up close. So I know Seth Ryder a little bit from putting on the shakeout run I did for Boston Marathon last year, or not Boston Marathon, for the when SuperTri was here in Boston last year. I put on a shakeout run with the Stars and Stripes team, and Seth and I got to run a lot and chat. So I saw him getting ready in transition on Saturday morning, and then I had access to the VIP area to have a coffee, have a little chat and a little room to warm up. And that was close to where the pros would get in to their swim corral and jump in the water. And Seth was there with his dad getting his wetsuit put on. He's like, Josh, man, these things suck. and and he was talking about the live trackers that they were given
yeah.
and were asked to have sewn into their kits, but you had to put it in, and it's literally where Ironman asked you to put it is kind of like top middle, and right on your spine, and then you
Mm,
zip up a wetsuit on top of it, and it's just like digging in. Um, and it sounds like from listening to TTL, Paula was saying they're even smaller than the T100 ones. So I don't know how they're going to do that. We all want the data. We all want to know where the little dots are and know that they're accurate and not have to worry
yeah,
about the timing mats out on a bike course, especially, and even on the run to have that live tracker. But maybe they can come up with something that'll eventually allow them not to be interfered with in terms of the swim or any part of the race. But sounds like if you put it in the right spot, or maybe not exactly where Ironman wants it, it still tracks and does the thing. But it didn't impact Seth's day at the end of the day because I think he came out of the water second or third, and another short course guy having a great race at Oceanside. We didn't really touch on him. He was out there leading the way, and I think
mm,
he did say the biggest mistake he made was he ran with his heart when Lionel passed him instead of his head, which told him to stay back and run his own pace because he kind of blew up and dropped back to fourth instead of holding on for like second or third if he had probably ran a little bit steadier of a pace. But he still got a slot to world. So yeah, that was kind of like the only little outside of actual race thing that I noticed going on this week. But looks like Race Ranger did its job, and the live tracker actually worked, the broadcast. I really do wish Ironman would figure out the broadcast in terms of having people like live at the events. I get there's a lot of money and expense, but people are paying a lot of money to come to these races
Absolutely.
and watch them. You can see the difference between having the T100 broadcasters and team at the event compared to someone in New Zealand or Australia and somebody in Boulder, as opposed to actually being in Oceanside. So
Absolutely.
we'll see how that progresses throughout the year, because the coverage was definitely better than what we saw in Geelong, in South Africa, and it sounds like it was even live on YouTube for the day too, without having to go through Outside Watch, which is a big improvement if we're going to get more eyes on the sport.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see, and hopefully they fix that, because we deserve better coverage, and that's how you grow the sport. One thing is to have the experience on site, and another thing is to give the viewers that excitement and want. If you grow the how you broadcast things, then that means more people are going to come watch your event and or race your event and be part of it. Yeah, so let's hope they fix it finally.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've got a little bit of a break in the Pro Series now. Texas will be the next one. Good luck to all of our Mana athletes, mostly coaches, racing in Taiwan this week. Kudos to Mana and AG1 for everything in Oceanside this week. It was really, really, really awesome.
Unbelievable.
Great to see. It was a big splash. A lot of people talking about it, and I'm really excited to see what kind of partnerships and collabs, and the kits in the Mana booth had a lot of eyes, a lot of people stopping by. A lot of purchases were made from outside our community, because people want to look good and go fast, and certainly something that this community and Mana Apparel in general are going to continue to grow. So, well, we'll be back next week. We'll see if we can get a guest on to bridge some gap with no results really coming up in the near future. But Fed, thanks for popping on. Great to see you, man, and thanks for all the texts and kudos that I got from you and Jen over the weekend. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, and happy to be back. And let's get you back on the training horse. And now with Boston on your side, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to follow.
Yeah, looking forward to running 26.2 straight.
There you go.
All right, guys, thanks.